Good morning, class. Welcome to the subject Fundamentals of Accountancy, Business and Management 1. I am your teacher, Sir Redentor M. Casimilio. So, class, our topic for today is about the types of business according to activities. So, we have here the service business, merchandising, and the manufacturing business. So, we're going to differentiate each one from the other. So when we speak about the service business class, it is a type of business that offers professional skills, advice, and consultation. So what are the examples? We have the barber shops, the beauty parlors or salons, repair shops, banks, accounting, and law firms. They are under the service business kasi yung serbisyo mo ang binabayaran ng inyong mga customer. Like for example, kung ikaw ay nagpagupit sa barbershop o sa barber or nagpaganda sa mga salons. So definitely, ang binabayaran mo bilang ikaw ay customer, yung serbisyo na ibinibigay nila sa'yo. What about pagdating sa merchandising business? So class, ang merchandising business is a type of business buys at wholesale and later sells the products at retail. So they make a profit by selling the merchandise or products at prices that are higher than their purchase cost. And this type of business is also called buy and sell. So most of you or majority of you class, narinig na yung salitang buy and sell. Bibilhin mo yung finished product sa ganitong presyo. Let's say for example, nabili mo yung isang item na 20 pesos. Now you can sold it at least 25 pesos or higher than that. So ang pagkakaiba lang nito sa service business, yung serbisyo ang binabayaran mo under service business. But in the merchandising business, mayroong specific item or product na makukuha ka once na nagbayad ka ng pera. Okay. What are the examples? Yung bookstores, sari-sari stores, or the hardware stores. Basta class, kung mayroong item na involved doon sa transaction between the seller and the customer, yun ay kinukonsider natin na merchandising business. Yung product na binili ni seller from a company ay finished product na at ibebenta na lang sa mga customer at dadagdagan na lang yung amount ng purchase cost. Now, what about manufacturing business? So this type of business buys raw materials and uses them in making a new product. Therefore, combining raw materials, labor, and expenses into a product for sale later on. So, basically class, wala kang makikita pa ditong finished product. Ang gagawin ng manufacturing business, bibili sila ng raw materials para makagawa ng bagong product. So, kailangan pa nilang i-manufacture, ibig sabihin, i-convert si raw materials, combining the labor and other expenses to have a product. So, what are the examples of manufacturing? We have the shoe manufacturing businesses or the car manufacturing plants. Okay. Now, this is only an additional information. Kasi class, may mga negosyo na it is a combination of more than one type of business. Pwede sabihin natin that business is composed of a merchandising business, a manufacturing business, or a service business. How? So in this example class, I'll be giving you an example of a bakery. So para magkaroon ka ng mga bread sa iyong bakery, you have to buy raw materials para nga makagawa ka ng bread. And that is an example of manufacturing business. Now, what will you do after having this bread? So you have the pandesal or pwede rin ang sabihin natin different or various flavors or ng bread, ibebenta mo na siya. Once na ibinebenta mo to sa market or sa mga customer natin, pumapasok doon yung merchandising business. And now, when you cater customers' orders in a small coffee table servings, like for example, ensaymada and hot coffee, pumupunta ka ngayon now sa service business. Okay. Okay, going on. So, the nature of a service business provides a needed service for a free. In general, service businesses actually have no physical product sold for clients. Their services are designed to facilitate the work of clients and in return are paid. Service businesses include salons or barbershops, laundry services, car repairs, medical centers, and services of professionals like lawyers and doctors. The revenue of a service business is usually realized once the service has been substantially completed. Aside from the minor supplies, the service business does not maintain a high level of inventory as compared to merchandising and manufacturing businesses. So, relatively, service businesses, all transactions are on cash payments. So, yun ang kaibahan ng mga pag-service business. Lahat ng transactions mo ay cash basis. And another thing, kapag service kasi walang physical product na involved. So more of talagang to facilitate the needs of our clients, like for example nga, pupunta ka sa mga salons or barber shops, o papagawa ka ng sasakyan mo sa mga repair shops, or magpapa-check up ka, so punta ka sa mga hospitals, yun yung mga tinatawag natin na mga service business. So this means sales are collected immediately while most expenses are paid out outright in the form of cash or checks. So the typical financial transactions recorded for a service company included collecting a deposit from the customer and providing the service and receiving payment. Okay, all right. So here we have the accounting cycle of a service business. We have transactions or events, journal entries, posting, trial balance, worksheet, adjusting journal entries, financial statements, and closing the books. So, little by little class, kailangan nating daanan itong cycle of accounting. So, wag muna natin na dito man tayo sa transactions, journal, and posting. So, dapat ma-master natin yung first three para kapag master na natin yung cycle 1, 2, and 3, madali na para sa atin yung the rest of the cycle. Now, so the first one is transactions or events. So class, you have to identify and measure external transactions and internal events. Sa stage ng transactions, the documents used by the business are analyzed whether it has financial impact or effect. So you have to recall the rule that only financial transactions are recorded and that the amount can be measured. So these two conditions must exist in order that a particular transaction is recognized or recorded. So financial transactions are those activities that change the value of an asset, liability, or an equity. Sa pag-identify natin or pag-analyze ng ating mga transactions, we have to consider or we have to analyze carefully yung mga transactions na binibigay sa atin. Kasi kung nagkamali tayo agad in analyzing the transactions, the rest of the steps or cycle, mamamali din tayo. Now, given this example, receipt of cash from a client as advance payment to repair a computer. In this case, asset will increase. At the same time, the advances from client or the liability will also increase. How? Because the advances from a client is a liability because the business has the obligation to render future service to the client. So basically, kung titinan mo, naka-receive ka ng cash, what will happen kung naka-receive ka ng cash? So more or less, your asset will increase in the form of cash. But the scenario here, class, is that you receive an advance payment, which means that you have a an obligation to render a service once na kailangan na ng ating client. So kaya nga, nag-increase yung ating mga liability. Ano? Another example, payment of electric bill as a financial transaction. So basically, kung payment ang involved dito, it will decrease the cash under asset and reduce the income of the business at the same time. So what are the other examples? Hiring and termination of employees, recognition from the government as most outstanding business, and the death of owner. So the information needed when recording transactions are taken from forms used to document these transactions. In a typical service business, the following are the business documents used. Number one, the official receipt or the cash receipt. So this document is used when a business receives money or a check. An official receipt or cash receipt is a document that acknowledges that money or a check have been received. So basically, class, when you pay a certain specific item at nabayaran mo siya in a form of cash or check, you are entitled for a cash receipt or official receipt. Please take note also that if you have paid something, kailangan mong kuhain yung official receipt. Bilang tulong mo na rin yan sa ating BIR na talagang nare-regulate natin yung tamang pagbabayad ng buwis ng ating mga seller. Number two is charge invoice or sales invoice. It is a document used when a service has been rendered, but the client will be billed only after a certain number of days from the date of service. So basically, class, nare-receive mo daw ang charge invoice or sales invoice kung meron kang service na ginawa. Okay, so bago ka bigyan ng billing statement, ito muna yung binibigay sa inyo as a proof na meron siyang service na na-render. So, a company will issue a statement of account to a customer with the charge or sales invoice attached. For example, in a laundry business, a customer may avail of the services of the business. However, that customer and the owner of the business had a prior agreement that all services availed by the customer will be paid only after 30 days. So in this case, since yun nga, nag-render ka na ng service, tapos hindi ka pa agad mababayaran, so a charge invoice or a sales invoice is issued on the day the client availed the services. Alright? So shall we proceed to the last, which is the check or cash voucher. It is a document used when a check is issued to pay a certain supplier or vendor. For example, a laundry business for the payment of monthly electric bills, the business may pay either in cash or check, but the company must prepare a cash or check voucher to support this payment. And this document will serve as a record of payment and at the same time as a proof that payment has been made by the company. So ganito lang yan, class. Let's say for example, nagbayad ka nga. 'Di ba normally sa atin pag nagbabayad tayo, only the cash ang binibigay natin. So here, dapat daw meron tayong voucher, either check or cash voucher, na pepermahan nung ating binayaran as a proof daw, class, na tayo ay nagbayad. Okay. Okay, now this is the references for our lesson for today. If you have some questions, please don't hesitate to send a message via messenger or via text. Thank you.